Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, State Senator Ben Kieckhefer here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon, a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails, featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere. The Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson. We'll save you a drink.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2021 Nevada legislative session is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. Ahern Rentals is ready for your next project. Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. And Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always delighted to welcome back to the program State Senator Ben Kieckhefer of District 16. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
And you sit on Finance, Health and Human Services, and Revenue and Economic Development.
Yep, raise money, spend money.
Yeah, yes, you do. Let's talk about esports. And for those that don't understand what esports are, please briefly explain.
All right, so esports is frankly competitive video gaming, right? And there are online competitions and in-person competitions, but this is the fastest growing segment of the entertainment and professional sports industries combined. So if you look at opportunities for Nevada, when we focus on professional sports and entertainment, esports is a natural fit, and Las Vegas in particular should be a hub for esports competitions globally.
Okay, and let's mention that this has been going on in Asia, for example, for well over a decade, correct?
Sure, and in the US as well. Major League Gaming was created 20 years ago. So this has been happening, it's growing, it's a diversified sort of ecosystem of companies and businesses and segments of the industry. But it's a really exciting opportunity, I think, for Nevada as we focus on our economic development to both support our single largest industry, which is gaming and hospitality, but also grow in our technology investment through sort of a niche within the technology ecosystem in esports, as well as the remote work opportunities that we're looking for in Nevada with a bunch of companies located on the West Coast. So I think it's a great opportunity for the state.
Okay, and this is something that certainly in other countries, but obviously in the United States as well, literally tens of millions of people are watching this online, correct?
Oh, look, Game 6 of the NBA championship, Game 6 of Major League Baseball in 2016 were eclipsed by factors of 5 to 10 by some of the esports competitions that exist in the world. You're talking about 60,000 unique viewers, or sorry, 60 million unique viewers of some of these events, whereas some of our professional competitions in the US are getting 6 million. So, the scope of this is really hard, I think, for a lot of people to fathom. There's a ton of viewership online, but stadiums are also getting filled across the world with people to watch these competitions live. It's just like going to watch a sport that you used to play as a kid, right? If you were a video game player when you were a child, going to watch the best in the world do that is exciting, and people really get thrilled about it.
Are people either legally or illegally gambling on gaming at this point in that form?
Absolutely. The Nevada sports books are able to take wagers on esports events if they go through that process. So gambling and wagering is a part of that. The proposal that I've created to created collaboratively with a lot of people who've done a lot more work than I have, is to create a Nevada Esports Commission to provide some integrity and oversight of the competitions that happen in our state that are of the highest level. But wagering is totally aside from that, and that still will remain the purview of the Nevada Gaming Control Board and the Nevada Gaming Commission.
All right, so right now in Las Vegas, Luxor has an esports arena, correct?
Absolutely, an incredibly popular one.
Okay, so why the need for a commission that would be somewhat similar to the Athletic Commission?
Right, so the idea is to create a really light touch, industry-friendly sanctioning body to work with industry to help them identify problems and solve them before they start, and potentially work a little bit of the, take some of the load off their backs that they don't want right now. So the commission would be set up to essentially sanction events similar to the Athletic Commission, as you say. And the idea here is to try to get some arms around the ecosystem. It's a decentralized body, unlike the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball, which is really vertically integrated. There are both some vertically integrated systems within esports, but a lot of them are also diversified, where you have tournament organizers running games that are controlled by other publishers with teams from across the world that are not all interconnected in a vertically integrated structure. So it's kind of the Wild West. And it's probably time within the evolution of this sport to bring it sort of together in a little bit of a more cohesive fashion.
So is this, and I'm not comparing them literally one to the other, but in terms of organization, where mixed martial arts went from just literally the Wild West and anything goes, and was illegal in a lot of states in the United States because of that, and really what occurred across the country was making an organized set of rules so that everybody would be legal, and you could broadcast it, you could do all kinds of things with it.
Yeah, sure. MMA is a great example of how the state of Nevada has worked with industry to help create safe harbor in our state and help a company grow. UFC is a great example of that. They ran towards regulation, and it was incredibly successful for them. Now, and I like to tell that story because I think it's a great example of how the state does work with business and values what they do and that we want them here. Esports is a little bit of a different entity in that it's perhaps a little bit more evolved, right? You've got these publishers, which are multi-billion-dollar international corporations, which build the actual games that are played, and they have standards and rules that they go by currently. So it's not the UFC saying there are no rules, right? Which was their tagline right. in its original incarnation.
Yes, it was.
So that's not what esports is, but I do think that the state can add value to an evolving and continually growing ecosystem and sort of enterprise that is not controlled in a vertical fashion, and that we could help them prevent problems from arising and solve some problems that may already exist.
You see this as an international attraction for Nevada as well, correct?
Absolutely. This is hugely popular in Korea, in Asia, in Western Europe. And and with a young audience, right, in its 20s and 30s. I mean, what better group of new customers to bring to Las Vegas than a bunch of, well-to-do players in their 20s and 30s? It's a target audience for the resort and hospitality industry in our state. It has been for a long time, and I think esports is a unique way to capture this new audience.
And what kind of response are you getting from your fellow legislators?
Look, legislators, I think, are interested in the idea. They like economic development, right? We all want to do things that are creating jobs in the state. So, most of the fellow legislators that I talk to are pretty excited about it. I've set up a PS4 in my office so they can come by and try out some of these games that people like to play. If they don't know about them already. And the response so far is positive. I'm still working with industry to try to help identify some of the value that we can provide to make sure that they're comfortable. I want to make sure that what we're doing is achieving the goal of economic development and not seen as government overreach or anything like that. So I'm trying to be really deliberate and really careful to ensure that we're not driving people away rather than bringing them here.
Do you see a day when, for example, Allegiant Stadium would be host to an event like this?
Allegiant Stadium could be packed for an entire week or weekend.
It's huge, 65,000 a day.
Absolutely. But if you look at League of Legends championships, if you look at Call of Duty League championships, they could fill Allegiant Stadium and all of the surrounding convention space. These are huge events that last for an extended period of time. It's not a concert that's there for a single night or a single sporting event that's there for a single night. This is a multi-day sort of multimodal event that could have huge economic impact on our city.
So in a way, I'm just envisioning, NFR filled in 10 days that were dead in December.
Yeah, mid-December for Las Vegas.
Right. So I'm envisioning that something like this could do something similar, if not more.
Absolutely, and we can fill gaps in the calendar with some of these events as well. So if you have large conventions that take a week or a week and a half, and there are those spaces on the event calendar that need a filler, there are tournaments and events that can be staged to fill those spaces, and I think it's just a really exciting opportunity, and I'm excited to continue to push it forward.
Do we have, for example, and I'm presuming it would be a Wi-Fi capability to be able to handle something like this on a huge level?
Yeah, sure. Well, look, a lot of the tournaments that are in person are on a local area network, right? So it's not necessarily through Wi-Fi because of latency issues and ensuring that it's fair competition. So look, the Allegiant Stadium has been built with some of the highest technology that was available and is available right now. Circa, the new convention center, all of our facilities are being built out with the highest levels of technology infrastructure. So, and for example, Twitch, right, which is the online broadcaster, 400 million or so unique users, is the official online broadcaster for Allegiant Stadium and is already in a partnership with the Las Vegas Raiders. So there are natural alignments already happening within the technology space and within the esports ecosystem. Professional sports teams have esports teams underneath them. NBA, NFL, NHL. So there is just an incredible symbiotic potential relationship between esports and Las Vegas, and I think it's got nowhere to go but up.
At this point, is the Chinese government allowing people to travel for esports type events? Are you aware of that or not? Because
I do not know.
Gaming-wise, they're not allowing people to travel to the extent that they were before.
Yeah, I can't answer that right now. I think that's something that, look, international relations is not my business, right? But look, the potential tourism from Asian countries outside of China is incredible. This is something that is, as you mentioned, widely popular in Korea, right? And has been for decades. And Japan, other Asian countries as well as Western Europe. There's fans all over the world that are engaged and heavily engaged in esports. It is the fastest growing segment of professional sports.
All right, let's take a break. More with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer after this timeout.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Come visit Design Outdoor's store and backyard to see our wide selection of fire pits, barbecues, and pizza ovens, natural stone water features and fountains, and frost-proof pottery. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
Can't do it. Stupid, like my mom.
We can't do anything at Mommy's because you won't pay child support.
Dad said you cheated, and he's not even sure he's my dad.
Mommy said you left both of us, so she isn't gonna let me see you. I look just like my father.
I'm divorce attorney Marilyn York, and I may represent men, but hate has no gender, only casualties. Please, stop sacrificing your children in your war against your ex.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer of District 16. You have been a huge proponent of blockchain technology for the last several years. What are your thoughts on innovation zones and the idea that Blockchains LLC, the literal company that operates in Story County at this point, wants to take their 67,000 acres and be self-governing in this innovation zone?
Yeah, look, I think there's still a lot to learn about what this proposal is, what it does, what it wants to be. We still don't have a bill in the legislative session. We're about halfway through. We haven't seen the bill yet, which is going to be big. The draft that was released by blockchains and project proponents is still out there, but things tend to change a lot when you get into legislative drafting. So I think that there are a lot of details still to be, sort of heard and vetted. And I think the legislative process is actually really good at sort of pulling some of this stuff out and getting to understand what is being discussed and what's being proposed. Now, what I like to think is that we should probably pull away from talking about a single project, a single company, a single location, because it's a big idea, right? And I like big ideas. And the idea that we create a sandbox for the relationships between people and their government, from businesses to their clients, from business to business, from businesses to their government. I think there's something there that's interesting, right? And if we can find a way to make it work, then I'd be super interested in it. I have significant reservations about applying a new tax on this technology, which is one of the key proponents in this. I think when you tax something, you get less of it, and we should be encouraging more innovation and more new technologies to come into our state. Applying maybe the only tax in the country against them is probably not the best way to do that, so I have reservations about that component. But the idea of building this sandbox is fascinating to me. I like it.
So the big ideas, all of that, I couldn't agree with you more. And I would think that most of the guests who have talked about this on the program, we've had a lot over the last few weeks, and we're going to have a lot more, all agree on that. The thing that is raising the most concern is the idea of separating that 67,000 acres out of Story County and forming its own county. And how do you feel about that?
Look, I think that it's the biggest lift within this idea and within this proposal, and I think we need to explore with some specificity what the goal is, right? And if Story County is one of the best counties to work with when it comes to government, right? So what can't they do in Story County that they want to do? And maybe there's a different structure that works. Maybe there's a new type of district. Maybe there's a new type of sub-level of government that makes sense. I think that once we clearly identify the problems we're trying to solve, then we can come up with a solution that'll work. But we need to have the opportunity to sit down and have those discussions. And that's what this legislative process should be about.
Absolutely. And the thing that's kind of stunning about this is, if you said Washoe County or even Clark County, you could say that government can slow things down dramatically, and therefore a new county might be a good idea. But at Story County, not only are they accessible to just about any idea, you get a grading permit on day one if you show up to design something. But they've got the Gigafactory there, the largest building in the world, and it seems to be thriving. Why would Story County not be able to handle another project? They're excited for the idea of the project. They're just not excited to have a chunk of their county taken away.
Yeah, a significant chunk of their county, right? And
correct.
It's not a small piece. I mean, look, I was standing there when Elon Musk stood on the steps of the state capitol and said Nevada is a state that can get things done, and I think that's absolutely the case. So we just need to figure out exactly what the goal is and what the proposals are that are running into some problems, and then we can find a way to fix it.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back more with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer after this timeout.
Serving Our Kids Foundation's mission is to serve homeless, at-risk, and food insecure children in grades K through 8 throughout Southern Nevada. During the pandemic, Serving Our Kids has seen a 42% increase in the number of children served, providing more than 4,500 meals to kids in over 100 schools weekly. Serving Our Kids is powered by community support and volunteers. To learn how you can help, visit servingourkids.org.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer of District 16. Cybersecurity for the state. We've had people on this program who are concerned about the fact that we are protecting the front door of cybersecurity in Nevada, but not the back door. Are we doing anything in this session to look at cybersecurity and enhancing it?
The Department of Enterprise Information Technology, I think, is continually looking at how to protect the state's digital assets and needs to continue to do so. It's probably somewhere we need to put enhanced focus. It's definitely somewhere we need to put enhanced focus, and best I can say is that we probably need to do more.
Dieter, the funding request they've made seems to be about half of what they need to move forward. Why are we not looking at funding whatever they need to move forward at a time when we've seen just what can go wrong and now have the ability to fix it?
Yeah, I think we do need to do more in DETR. The Senate Republicans have put forward a DETR proposal that is aligned with former Speaker Buckley's strike force, as well as Jason Guinasso's report that he put out. We propose appropriating money directly into a technology investment that will link up the systems that have caused a lot of the problem, create sort of an ombudsman's office for citizens within DETR to be specifically responsible and accountable to the clients, the people who need money, and I'm all for giving them whatever resources are necessary to get the job done. They've just come in to ask for another 200 positions, which is a significant step in the right direction, but it wasn't in the original budget request.
Yeah, and sadly, this is going to happen again. I mean, this is not, whether it's a virus or something else, but I mean, even the Great Recession, they didn't do so well.
Yeah, what we need to create is a system that can be scaled up when the time is when it's necessary, right? So we need to be thinking long term.
Why did we lose Tesla to Texas, their latest factory?
Well, I don't know if we lost Tesla to Texas. I think it makes sense from a corporate perspective to sort of spread your assets out across the country. I think it's a sort of strategic business decision by the company. Tesla's a major component of our economic development ecosystem now, both in northern and southern Nevada. There are thousands of jobs that they have created in southern Nevada that people don't talk about a lot. I think we should be happy with the fact that they're here and the significant role that they've played.
All right, well, no argument there. Voter fraud, you have concerns, great concerns?
Look, I think that as we change our election system, we should look at the system sort of more holistically, so that if we're going to be mailing ballots to people, that we have a more robust signature verification process, that we ensure that our voter rolls are clean so that we're not mailing to people who've moved out of state or have passed away. And I think that those are discussions that we're having in terms of large-scale voter fraud. I haven't seen that from the last election, and I don't think we should be using that as a crutch to improve voter access. I believe that, look, frankly, as a Republican, Republicans did pretty darn well this year with really robust voter turnout, and we should focus on that and ensure that we're trying to convince people that we're making the right policy arguments for our state.
Senator Scott Hammond was on the program recently and talking about that we've received $18 billion so far from the federal government, and probably another $3 or $4 billion to come. Your concerns?
Well, look, I have obvious concerns about the where the money's coming from in terms of the federal debt that's being created for programs that I think may or may not be targeted for COVID response. So, look, a lot of that money was in unemployment benefits, in PPP loans. That was all a wise investment by the federal government to invest in our people and our companies. But what's coming out now, I think we need to be a little bit more skeptical of.
This money doesn't go towards just general fund budgeting. Can we still handle a general fund with what we have at this point?
Yes, I think we're going to pass a general fund budget for the next 2 years, initially based on the governor's recommendation, probably with a little bit of augmentation here and there. I think you wouldn't be surprised to see us back in special session in the summer at some point to maybe layer on some of the federal dollars that are coming in through the American Recovery Act to bring us to a level of spending probably more commensurate of what we would have experienced without COVID. We can't break the bank and we can't build up programs that we're not going to be able to fund long term. But if we can assume a healthy recovery for our economy, which I think is reasonable, we can build up our budget with some of these funds up to a place where we would have been, without the pandemic.
And that's where we have to leave it. Come back soon, because there's always so much more to talk to you about.
Anytime, I appreciate it, Sam.
Thank you, and we'll be right back. Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers on television, radio, audio and video podcasts, and YouTube. We'll see you on the next broadcast coming to you from Carson City. See you then.